Ani, bonjour, Evan Saltishnakas. I'd like to welcome everybody here today for our virtual 2020 Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation Remembrance Day service. Again, I would like to welcome our Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation members, our visitors, and our friends. To my left, I have veteran Gary Samuel Sue, and to my right, I have veteran William Roger LaForme. It's a privilege and a very humbling experience to be here with you today on this significant event, and honor to pay respect to our past and our present Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation veterans. I'm here today to read out the roll call of those past MCFN veterans and our present. The War of 1812 to 1815, Joseph Sawyer and Lawrence Herkimer. The Boer War, 1899 to 1902, the South African War, John Sterling. The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, Daniel Herkimer and Charles Augustus Jones. World War I, the Great War, 1914 to 1918, Lieutenant Cameron Daniel Brandt, Private Maxwell Tobiko, Corporal Albert W. L. Crane, Private Thomas Seacord, Private Daniel LaForme, Private Herbert LaForme, Private John Wesley LaForme, Private Samuel LaForme, Private Oswald Jacob King, Private Wilfred King, Private Francis W. Crane, Private John H. Crane, Private David Herkimer, Private George Ira Herkimer, Private Solomon Spencer, Private Alfred Jones Chubb, Private George R. Salt, and Percival J. Wood. Private Wallace Langford Sterling, Private Joseph Chubb Jr., Private John A. LaForme, Private Morley LaForme, Private Elias LaForme, Private John King, Private George Joseph King, Private Percy F. King, Private Charles Tobiko, Private Elgin Brandt, Private Jacob LaForme, Private Joseph Sterling, Benjamin Chubb, Peter LaForme Jr., Melvin McDougall, Alexander LaForme, Arthur Henry, and Richard Henry. World War II, 1939 to 1945, Maxwell J. King, Arthur H. Crane, Lewis Elliott King, Jacob S. Brandt, Leo Smith LaForme, David Jack LaForme, Norman Spencer, Sergeant Louis M. LaForme, William M. E. Tobiko, Frederick W. G. King, Robert Osborne Earl King, Norman Henry, Lawrence Albert LaForme, Oliver Wesley LaForme, Robert C. Brandt, Private George L. King, James L. LaForme, Norman A. King, Ivan E. LaForme, Wesley Salt, Wilfred R. Crane, Stephen H. Herkimer, Joseph Henry, Private Hazel Jane King Haggard, Joseph Tobiko, Charles A. Salt, Earl Wood, Graham King, James Bruce LaForme, Lucy LaForme, and Joseph Salt. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953, Carl Blake Salt, Gordon M. LaForme, and Joseph Salt. Serving in peacetime, Lauren W. King, Irving Salt, Lamont Salt, Garner Salt, Orville Salt, Sergeant M. Brian LaForme, Corporal A. Mark Laforme, Sonny Wayne Watson, Philip Tobico, William Roger Laforme, Frank S. Bonham, Raymond Walter Schuler, Michelle Ann Salt, Albert E. Sue Sr., Gary Samuel Salt Sue, Albert E. Sue Jr., Mike T. Sue, Marvin R. Doney, Norman Craig, Stephen Bonham, and Richard Crane. And currently serving Brock Marshall Secord and Stephen Ruff Bonham. That's the roll call of our Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation veterans. Those that have passed on, those that are presently still gracing us here on earth, and those that are currently serving right now. Veteran William Roger Laforme and veteran Gary Samuel Sue will lay the wreaths. I'd like to say miigwech to our veterans here today. Veteran Gary Samuel Sue and veteran William Roger Laforme. I'd also like to say chi miigwech again to our fellow Mississaugas of the Credit members, to our visitors, and to our guests who joined us today. Chi miigwech.
Remember, to all those who've gone before, to all the people that went to war, to the men and women who faced death, to those who will never again draw breath, to the mothers and fathers whose children gave all, to the husbands and wives whose mate answered the call, to the child who faces life on their own, to everyone who talks to a name on a stone. No medal or ribbon can repay all that we owe. The praise and applaud are not enough, and we know. How do you thank someone for everything you have and everything you are? Without you, never could we accomplish so much or come so far. I want to say thank you, but no words are enough for what you went through. There is one promise that I can give, one oath I shall never break for as long as I live. I'll remember that we owe all to you, a person, a people I never even knew. I will remember.